Hello, my name is Ellie Tennant. If you didn't guess from my shirt and the wall behind me, I am a Crystal Palace fan. Welcome back to episode 23 of Eagle Eye View. This is a series I've created to alert the fellow Fanalysis members ahead of our upcoming fixtures. This week we are playing Tottenham Hotspur at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and today I'm joined with Tottenham fan Mitch. How are you doing today, Mitch?
Hello. Yeah, I'm not too bad. Thank you for having me. First of all, I never thought I would be sat here with a Crystal Palace fan talking about how big of a game this is for
Yeah.
both of our hopes of staying in the Premier League this
Uh,
season. It is absolutely mad.
It really is. We touched on it before we started filming. It's crazy that we're in this position. Obviously, you sit 16th at the moment with 29 points, 2 points above Nottingham Forest, and 4 points above the relegation zone. Sorry to remind you of that. But
It's
you
okay.
have recently lost to United, Newcastle, Arsenal, which is obviously a painful one, and Fulham. Again, sorry for reminding you of that. But we're going to address the elephant in the room first. Do you think relegation is a potential for Tottenham this season?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. It's crazy. Do you know what? Up until Christmas, I probably would have said no. But I think based on our form this season, winless in our last 10 games in the Premier League, last win was actually against you guys at Selhurst Park just after
Uh,
Christmas,
Liverpool.
which crazy. But since then it's been absolutely dreadful. And obviously we've had Igor Tudor come in to replace Thomas Frank, and we've not really got any better. So I think for me, this is the big indicator as to whether we actually are in serious trouble of going down or not. I think if we win on Thursday night, I think we'll be okay. If we lose, or even if we draw, to be honest with you, there's a very, very serious chance that we could go down. And of course, it depends on the other results as well.
Yeah.
I'm looking over my shoulder at all of West Ham and Nottingham Forest's results at the moment. So they've both got tough fixtures in midweek as well. So fingers crossed they don't pick up any points there. But if they do, the pressure's huge. And I don't think our players at the moment are capable of handling much pressure. So it's a massive game. And yeah, no club is too big to get relegated. Not Tottenham, not anyone. So we've just got to start picking up wins. And unfortunately for you, well, not unfortunately, but in that sense, I hope it starts by beating you guys on
Uh,
Thursday.
I mean, that would be just a luck. But yeah, you mentioned the last time you won was against us. So that would be just our luck.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy to me that you mentioned no club is really too big to go down. But can you imagine that Tottenham Hotspur in the Championship?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just crazy to me. Like 2 years ago, we were in completely different positions, and now you're at the bottom of the table. But you were last season as well, and then you won the Europa League. So do you think that overshadowed your season?
Yeah, it did. Look, yeah, last season I think a lot of us accepted it purely just because of the fact that we were going all out to win the Europa League, and we ultimately did it. Last season, yes, we finished 17th, but we were never really at risk of relegation. I think at this stage last season we were like 10 points clear of the
Yeah.
relegation zone, or just a bit more than that. So I don't think we ever had that fear. But I think the fear is now is all it takes is West Ham to win one game, and all of a sudden we're 1 point off the relegation zone. Or if Forest win in midweek, all of a sudden it's only West Ham that are between us and that relegation zone. And the bigger issue is I look at, for example, Burnley and
Mhm.
Wolves, who are all of a sudden showing a lot more fight than the Tottenham
Yeah.
players are at the moment. Burnley were incredibly unlucky against Brentford at the weekend, and if they'd have won that game, they would have only been 3 points off West Ham. So it's crazy, but I don't think it's ever something that we as Tottenham fans have really considered or have thought is a real possibility until this season, to be honest with you. But I think the focus for us all now is just getting out of this situation, drawing a line under this season, and doing some serious work in the summer to ensure that it never happens again. But I'm scared, Ellie, to be honest with you. I'm really, really scared that
I
we
don't
go
blame
down.
you.
It'll be the
Yeah.
biggest thing to I think it would be bigger than Leicester winning the league in 2016.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on it.
I think I agree. But also, it's also a credit to the Premier League. and like how competitive the teams are. Like the table is so tight, like you just mentioned, at the bottom and the top. Like a win for us would move us into the top 10. So it's so tight, it's so crazy. And it is a credit to the quality that is the Premier League. But yeah, it would be a massive story if you did go down. And you mentioned earlier that you sacked Thomas Frank and brought in Ida Tudor. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yep.
Have you noticed any positives at all?
I mean, look, we had a good 20-minute spell against Fulham the other day, which is, to be honest, it was a bit more fight than what we have seen all season under Thomas Frank. I don't know if you've seen any of the quotes in the media from Tudor in his press conferences so far, but he's gone down a very similar path to what Antonio Conte did when he was in charge, very much kind of going at the players, saying that the mentality is all wrong, that the quality is like blown his mind as to how poor it's been so far. That's kind of the message he's given to us fans so far. But at the same time, he's not been a revelation. You know, this is a guy who's supposed to come into Tottenham and make an instant impact, and he hasn't. We've lost against Arsenal, we've lost against Fulham, albeit two difficult teams to beat. Fulham doing really, really well under Marco Silva this season. Having said that, the setup's been really, really strange. Against Fulham, we played four central midfielders technically across the middle. In Xavi Simons was playing out on the left, even though he's obviously that number 10 role. Conor Gallagher was playing like right wing, which again, decisions like that so far have been a little bit questionable. So, I mean, obviously, it's difficult to do too much in the space of 2 weeks. And 10 games still to go. We've got a lot of players to come back from injury. I think there's only between the weekend and the end of March, there's only 3 Premier League games because of the international break and the FA Cup weekend this weekend. So, to that extent, maybe it will help us a bit because Tudor will have time to get more of his ideas into this squad, and we will hopefully get some more players back from injury as well. But you know, I'm trying to approach it like one game at a time type thing. I'm thinking Crystal Palace on Thursday. Let's go into that game. Let's win it. Let's not let Brennan Johnson score his first goal of the season for you against us. And you know, our Europa League winning goal scorer to send us down into the relegation zone. That would be the most Tottenham thing to happen, honestly.
It really would. But on the flip side, you've got Conor Gallagher, who's spent a lot of time at Palace, and he did take the headlines and made an issue for us. How have you found him so far?
He's been a bit disappointing, to be honest with you. I don't know whether that's because he's been played out of position, but he had a really, really poor game against Fulham. Albeit he played out on the right, which obviously isn't his natural position. It's not where he should be playing. But I think I read a stat that he lost the ball 10 times in the first half. He made 0 tackles. I think he only had like 18 touches of the ball before he was subbed off in the 60th minute. It was really, really poor. And then after all of that, or even before that, you've got reports coming out that, you know, we're paying him 220k a week. You know, he's one of our highest paid players. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, for that, and you pay 35 million for him in January, you expect a little bit more, but so far he's really not lived up to the expectations.
But yeah, I understand what you mean. I'm a massive Conor fan. I would have loved him back at Selhurst Park. As a Palace shirt, but obviously he didn't want to come home for some reason. But we did get Brennan Johnson, as you mentioned. I have been a bit underwhelmed with him so far. He hasn't hit the ground running at all. He goes missing way too much. Like, I don't even notice he's on the pitch half the time.
Yeah, we could have told you that, to be honest. So the weird thing about Brennan Johnson is a lot of the time he popped up with goals for Spurs. A lot of the time he made lots of late runs into the box. He always found himself in the right positions. He never scored screamers or anything like that. He's never been that, you know, dazzling, exciting one-on-one type winger player, but he knows where the back of the net is and knows the positions to get into. The issue a lot of us had with him during his time at the club was he didn't really do much else. He didn't ever have a major impact on games. He was never that real influential figure. which is why I think most of us were not really too bothered when we sold him in January. And I think you guys are kind of seeing the ripple effect of that at the moment.
Yeah, and obviously we signed him for, at the time, a club rental fee,
Yeah.
which has obviously now been broken. But it's like, it's kind of disappointing to see from us, because why are we investing so much in these players? Like you say, they're not influential at their previous teams, so why do we think they're going to be in our team? It's just
Yeah,
disappointing to
it's
see.
it's a weird one because I don't doubt that Brennan Johnson's got a lot of quality. He's still quite young as well. I think he's
Yeah.
only 24 or something like that. But you know, he, like I say, he holds a very fond place in our Tottenham fans. I don't know if you can see the poster behind me, but
Oh, I
there's
can.
one with him with the
Yeah.
Europa League trophy there. He's obviously he's going to be remembered forever because he scored the
Yeah.
goal that won it for us ultimately. But it just never really worked for him, and I don't know whether it's a positioning thing. I don't know whether it's a confidence thing.
Mm.
But he just, I feel like he just needs to find a bit of confidence in his game to really have an impact. So I think he could be a good player for Palace. I really, really
Yeah.
do. But maybe that will come under your next head coach when Glasner's gone. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like confidence is so key, and the fact that he's not playing every game now, it's even less chance for him to gain that
Mm.
confidence. So I think it is just a waiting game. But at the same time, if he scores on Thursday night, then I'll be a very happy girl.
Yeah, I bet. I don't think any of us will be.
No. So holiday that you signed him from Atletico Madrid, and
Mhm.
they're the team you play in the round of 16 of the Champions League. And how do you feel your season in Europe's been so far?
Season in Europe's been fantastic. Honestly, such a stark contrast to the Premier League form, to the FA Cup, Carabao Cup. It's been so different. You know, I don't have much confidence that we're going to get past Atletico in the last 16. You know, they're a good team. You know, they beat Barcelona 4-0 in the Copa del Rey semi-final the other week. Diego Simeone is a very good coach, and they've got some fantastic players as well. So, but in terms of, you know, the other European games we've played, it's been like watching a different Tottenham. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's because the way these European teams approach games is just different to how Premier League teams set up. I feel like the European sides give you more respect. Whereas, you know,
Mm.
you could go away to a Burnley and they'll still hustle you. They will still press you. They'll still be really physical and put you under loads of pressure. But, you know, we played Borussia Dortmund in one of our last league phase games in the Champions League, and they were just really poor. And this is a team that are second in the Bundesliga behind
Yeah,
Bayern Munich, you know, like they're a good team, but they just gave us so much space, so much room. It was the same with Frankfurt. The only, you know, we struggled in a few games. Obviously, we played PSG. That was a tough game. But even against them, we still scored goals. We still had lots of chances. So the issue I have with this one upcoming against Atletico starting next week is they're probably one of the closest things that you can get to a Premier League team from a European side, just because Simeone favours that more defensive, physical
mm.
approach to football games, which I feel is something that we've struggled with quite a lot. You know, they're very intense, they're very physical, and yeah, also once you get to the last 16 of the Champions League, the stakes are a lot bigger at this point, you know, and with where our confidence levels are, with the players just not performing well, it's going to be a real struggle. But ultimately, based on how the season's gone, like overall, the European campaign has probably been a success. It's probably
Yeah.
about where we would expect to get in this competition this year. So from that perspective, it's actually not too bad.
Would you say that's perhaps had a detrimental effect in your Premier League season?
Um, I don't think so, to be honest with you. I just I feel like it's such a weird one, right? Because when Thomas Frank came into the club, his very first press conference and one of the very first things the guys at the top of the club said is Thomas Frank has been brought in to ensure that we compete on all four fronts starting from this season. You know, so they're
Yeah.
very clear in wanting us to compete in the Prem, Champions League, and the two cup competitions as well.
Hmm.
We've done none. Well, we've done one. Okay, you could say we're still technically competing for the Champions League, but that will obviously only go so far.
Yeah.
So Has it had a detrimental effect on our Premier League season? Probably not. I guess the only way you could look at it is with the amount of injuries that we have.
Yeah,
Maybe the squad is a little bit stretched and there's not as much rest and rotation that we can perhaps have between the midweek games and
yeah,
the league games on the weekends. So maybe to that extent, but overall it's just because it's such a stark contrast in how we've played. I don't really see how it kind of matches up and correlates
um,
one to the other, if that makes sense.
yeah. I think what you mentioned there was that the amount of games you play, that's had such an impact on
Mm,
our season. Like, because
yeah.
we're not a club prepared for Europe. It came out of literally nowhere. We won the FA Cup, and next thing we know, we're in Europe. No one would have expected
Mm,
that 12 months ago. So we didn't have the team built for that, and the squad depth is horrendous, and that has definitely impacted our Premier League season. But at the
yeah.
same time, if we win the Conference League, who cares about the league?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, same as
As
you last
Yeah,
season.
it's a weird one. Do you know what? It would be like I think I said before, it would be like the most Spurs thing if Brennan Johnson scored the winner against us on Thursday night. But at the same time, it would be the most Spurs thing if we went down and somehow ended up winning the Champions League. Like it if that
Yeah,
was ever going to happen to one club, I feel like it would be Tottenham.
that would be.
Which is crazy. But as you said, we're a team that are used to playing in Europe.
Mhm.
Obviously, we do it most seasons, whether that's Champions League, Europa League, or Conference League.
Yeah,
So we've kind of always molded our squad around that. But I have seen the effects on, like yourselves, this season. It's a lot more demanding when you're all of a sudden playing 2 games a week and
yeah,
traveling across Europe at the same time
yeah.
as trying to compete in the Premier League. So it's a really really difficult one to try and manage.
It's also happening with Nottingham Forest as well. Obviously,
Hmm.
they're in the Europa League, thanks to us.
Yeah.
But obviously they're below you, so they're in an even worse position than us. Oh no, yeah, they're below you. Yeah, so they're in an even worse position than us. I would love for them to go down
Yeah.
just for a bit of sweet
I
revenge,
bet.
but
Yeah.
yeah, that was not a fun situation to be a part of.
No,
Yeah.
no, definitely not. I would, for the record, I would like Forest to go down as well because of how they handled the Gibbs White stuff in the summer when we were
Oh
trying to sign him.
yeah.
So, fingers crossed. But actually, if I had to choose one though out of West Ham and Forest, I would have to choose West Ham just because of the London
London.
rivalry thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Can you imagine like a London team goes down? It could be you or West Ham.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you never
Be
know.
crazy.
Yeah. I know this is a bit of a tough question, but you said that you're not really performing well. But if you had to choose one player from your team, which we fearful of this week, who would it be?
Ooh, that is a really tough question. So do you know what? And this is tough because I don't actually still particularly know how Igor Tudor is going to set up. I think if Matisse Tell starts on Thursday night, he's the one to watch because he was excellent when he came off the bench against Fulham. He was our
Okay.
best player and he played for half an hour. He was uh, pretty involved in the goal that we scored as well, and he's kind of got a point to prove because he's not really been given enough game time this season. So I would say he's definitely one to watch. And I'd say look out for Kolo Muani as well, just because he worked with Igor Tudor at Juventus last season. He had his best run of form in the last couple of years at Juve last season under him, and he's already obviously scored in the North London derby last weekend. He struggled against Fulham a bit more, but I do think he is going to start picking his form back up. So one of those two would be the names I'd give you, but I just do want to stress that at the moment there is very little to be afraid of when it comes to Tottenham. So I've said that now. I've said it.
Fair enough. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, if he starts, I'm scared for Gallagher and how he
Yeah.
responds to against his old team. We shall see. On the flip side, who are you fearful to play?
Oh, it depends really, do you know, because I've it's a weird one because I feel like it's more of a defence because we're struggling to score goals and create chances. And now you've got no Gehi, Lacroix suspended, who I would have been a little bit fearful of. Do you know? I really like Pino, but I don't know how much he's been.
Pino?
Do you not?
He's awful.
Really? I quite like him, but if you think he's rubbish, then that means he's guaranteed to play and score against us on Thursday as well now. So I'll hold you to that. But to be fair, is Mateta fit at the moment?
I don't think he's playing because he's potentially having an operation, and B, he's not in the most good books of Crystal Palace at the moment because
after trying to leave.
Yeah, but he was at Selhurst Park on Thursday for a European game. It's the first time we've seen him since the news.
Okay.
He wasn't in the team.
No. Do you know what, Ellie? Out of all of the players, I will have to put Brennan Johnson top of the list, though. It just has to be not necessarily even because of he's a world beater or anything, but it's lined up, isn't it, for it to be a big game for him? So it would have to be him, to be honest. He's like the worst player that could score in this game.
Score that 95th minute winner.
Yeah, be fantastic.
So obviously we are fellow London sides. Do you have any specific opinions on Crystal Palace?
I like Palace. I like Palace as a club. Always have done. I think the atmosphere at Selhurst Park has always been fantastic. I think they're a very, very classy and well-respected club across the Premier League, to be honest with you. Honestly, there aren't too many London clubs I like. I don't like Fulham because they've got a lot of our ex-Arsenal players in their team. Obviously, don't like West Ham, don't like Chelsea, don't like Arsenal. Brentford, I don't mind either. But Palace, to be fair, out of all of the clubs left in London, Palace are probably, top of the list in terms of...
Process of elimination, we are the only team left.
Yeah, pretty much. But I've always liked Palace, which is good. I think there's always been a good respect between the two clubs as well. It's never really been like it's not a rivalry, obviously, because a lot of people, I think, just assume that because clubs play in London that it's like a London derby automatically, but I don't necessarily think it is. But that doesn't change the fact that I really hope that we absolutely batter you on Thursday night with the highest amount of respect that I can possibly give you, because we are so desperate for a win. But yeah, like I say, there's no bad blood, I don't think, there at all.
Yeah, no. The only reason I don't like Tottenham is because my little cousin supports them.
Okay.
He's the only one in my family that supports a different team, and it's Tottenham. Because of his dad supports Tottenham, so I always have to have a little bit of hatred for
them. That's fair. That's fair.
When we played you in the FA Cup like 4 years ago, I think it was. He sat in the Palace end with me, and obviously we won. So I was very, very happy, and he was not happy. So
just having to hide it.
So this game is obviously at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Are you a season ticket holder?
No, I refuse to pay the prices that they charge for a season ticket. I have my membership. I am going on Thursday, but I pick the tickets that I want rather than commit to a season ticket because of how expensive it is, to be honest.
How much is a season ticket at Tottenham?
I think the cheapest one you can get is about 900 quid, but they go up from there. So yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just for the Premier League?
Yep. Yeah, that's what I mean. I think we've got the third highest season ticket prices in Europe.
And you're watching shit football.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, there's no sign of them reducing the costs either. I think they've frozen the prices for next year, but yeah, it's so expensive. I got offered one a few years ago, but I turned it down just because it's just a ridiculous amount of money. And we've not been great in the Prem for 2 years now. So I was thinking, why would I spend that to watch us? I think we've won 2 or 3 games all season in the Prem. So,
Is it at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
Yeah, at home. Yeah, we've been dreadful at home. We're better away from home than we are at home, which may bode well for you. Who knows?
We are better away from home too. Yeah. So hopefully. But do you have any tips, tricks, or must-dos for fans attending the game this week?
it depends really. So in terms of going to the stadium, it's a really smooth process, obviously getting in and stuff like that, because it's still, I say, relatively new. The stadium's been open for 7 years now, but
7 years.
yeah, I remember
We
because we
played
played
your first
the first
game.
game. It was April 2019, I believe,
Oh my
something like
God.
that. So yeah, so it's been because it was a year we got to a Champions League final. So yeah, it's crazy. I know our time flies like that, but yeah, I'd just say there's loads of ways to access a stadium in terms of that. I'd say if people are driving, it's a little bit more difficult, but the train access is really good. You've got White Hart Lane station right next to it. I usually get the train into Northumberland Park, and then it's a 10-minute walk from there. A bit further out is Seven Sisters Station, which is about a 25-minute walk, I'd say, from there. So there's loads of access points. And yeah, I mean, the food inside the stadium is really good, albeit expensive. um, so yeah, it's usually actually a really good experience. I think most away fans agree with that to an extent.
Yeah, I'm not going this week, but I have been to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium
Mm,
a few times. The only bad side is we normally drive, and routing through Tottenham is
yeah.
not the best experience.
No, it's not. It's not fantastic. That's what I mean. Like I usually get the train, or
Yeah,
when I drive, I try and park down the high road, but it's really, really difficult. And then if you want to park anywhere near the actual stadium itself, it's a
yeah,
ridiculous amount of money. So yeah, it
yeah,
is a little bit tough.
yeah. So last time we played in December, it was a 1-0 win to
Yep.
you, as you mentioned. Archie Gray scoring the winner. I don't know how we didn't get anything from that game, but yeah. What is your prediction for this week's match?
Um, oh, it's really weird. I can't remember the last time I predicted us to win a game, to be honest with you. So that's crazy. But I think I am going to go for a winning prediction this week, just because I feel like, and this is no disrespect to Palace, by the way, but I feel like this is quite a big opportunity for us to snap that losing
Um,
streak. I think we've lost our last four, as I said, winless in the last 10. But I feel like we're not going to get too many better opportunities at home against a team that are not too far ahead of us in the table. Obviously, you are ahead of us, like you said. I think you can go into the top half with a win, but
yeah.
against a team that I feel like we can pick up a result against. And to be honest with you, we have to pick up a result against. Otherwise, it's serious danger zones. It won't be easy though, 100%. It never is with Spurs. I'm gonna go with like a scrappy 1-0 win, to be honest with you. I don't think it's gonna be the best game. I think we're the only Premier League game on Thursday as well. I think everyone else has
Okay.
played by then. So, everyone's gonna be watching, and it's just gonna
Mhm.
be probably a really rubbish, scrappy game, 1-0 winner. It could go either way, but I'm
Yeah.
hoping it's in Spurs' favour.
I mean, I'm hoping it's not in Spain's favour.
Of course.
Um, but yeah, I think you do have a pretty good chance of beating this. Like you mentioned, that Poir is suspended.
Yeah.
Best best game to be suspended for. Um, did you watch the United game?
I did, yes.
Do you think it was red card?
No.
Thank you.
No, I don't think it was a penalty either.
No,
But yeah, that's Manchester United for you,
it
unfortunately.
really is. It really is. But yeah, coming off the back of that game, I don't know. I don't really feel that momentum is really in our favour,
Yeah.
and we are away, so that's the only positive I can take. But yeah, I can see it being a 1-0 either way. But yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully for us, hopefully we're the happier side. But we shall see. And I wish you the best of luck for the rest of the season after this match.
Yes.
Um,
Likewise.
where can my viewers find you? I know you do your own content as well.
Yes, yeah, just all over social media really. Got my YouTube channel, on X, TikTok, Instagram, all of that sort of stuff. Just Mitch underscore or Fretton if anybody wants to come and check me out. But yeah, like I say, Ellie, thanks for having me on. It's been a very good chat.
Thank you very much. Be sure to give Mitch a follow, and I will see you next week for another episode of Eagle Eye View.